In many ways, punk rock was everything what they were looking for. It was fast, loud, fun, and more importantly, just good old rock and roll. However, they were also looking for something else. Something a little older. They were looking for rockabilly. Now, to be fair, rockabilly was nothing really what Ivy grown up with. She was somewhat familiar with it, but she was more familiar with surf rock, which she loved. But she did get hooked on it. Lux showed her some good rockabilly records, and that's kind of when they became record collectors. From what I heard, they pretty much worked at a Goodwill, and they try to buy every single records they can. Their trick was to look for every word with the word bop in it, which is actually a pretty good way to find records. I did it myself. Rockabilly to them was just the ground of rock and roll. And they saw a lot of similarities between punk rock and roll. It was loud, raucous, and fun. And what they wanted to do was punk it up. Let me explain. They were looking back at the early days of rock and roll, what they can remember. And they were pretty much looking at, for a sample, Bill Haley. Now, you would think Bill Haley nowadays is innocent, but back in the day, they were even considered them as dangerous in many cases. In fact, there was a riot what broke out in Bill Haley's concert. So what the Cramps was trying to do was take that energy of punk and put it in rockabilly to kind of give it a kick again. Another thing they were really into at the time was 60s garage rock, what was pretty much in the similar vein of rockabilly being teenage music. With their love of rockabilly, punk, and garage, and even glam rock, they decided to embark on a musical journey together. They decided to stay in New York to pretty much do this. Their first concert was at CBGB's, which they didn't get paid well, so they moved to Max's Kansas City. This is what I can find of the concert. It's very chaotic. And I think that's what they were going for, was this chaotic kind of shows.
New York, the Cramps.
But just to see some of this, I mean, I can just picture this. Even though they were going for kind of an older sound in most of their punk rock contemporaries, I'm pretty sure people didn't really know what they were doing. You know, like, you know what I mean? Like, this was strange to them. In many ways, they did get a lot of criticism for being quote-unquote fake punk at the time because they didn't sing about politics. But the thing is, they kind of brush it off, saying, you know, a lot of the bands what sung about politics didn't really mean anything, and a lot of times they were even posers, you know, the ones who just carried on about politics. So, really, to them, punk was just about anti-establishment fun. And they would wear the most outlandish clothes. It was so shocking and cool. They went through guitarists and jumpers like that. First recruiting Kid Connell Powers on bass guitar, even though Poison Ivy was a bass guitarist. Actually, it kind of came by accident. They wanted him to be on drums, but he came with a guitar. So they're like, okay, we can have a second guitarist. And that's all because he put the name Cramps on his guitar. Humble people, I say, humble people. Honestly, guys, there's a lot of history to go on here, so I'll see you in part 3. I guess I'm going to do this all in parts. Have a good day now.